Hi everyone, in grade 2, it is time for our remote school language time. Happy Monday of the short week that is this week. I'm holding in my hand, that's right, our first spelling activities that we have since we left for March break. We're at week 24 this week, and as you know, the first thing we need to do is practice our words by writing them in a list. The first column, recall, is for copying the words by looking at the word, and then you need to fold over your page and look quickly at each word and then write the word down as best you can from your memory. That's what the fold line is there for. All you need to do today, Monday, is to do this first side. We only have 4 days of school this week, but the nice thing about remote school so far is that we will not be having spelling tests. Unless you can ask your grown-up to help you to do a spelling test at home, and that would be a great practice for you. But I'm not going to be telling you the words to do a spelling test for this week. But everything else looks the same, so enjoy your spelling test. Hooray for spelling! All right. And then I also want to encourage you for language this week. I haven't posted any activities for reading strategies, but we are going to be continuing our focus this week on asking questions. Last week, we focused on asking why questions. This week, I want to encourage you to ask questions of who, what, where, when, and how. So go ahead to ask your questions and write some of those questions down. I encourage you to keep a journal. So in your journal this week, what you could do is write some of those asking questions about the readings that you choose to do this week. Remember to read for 20 minutes a day. 10 minutes of reading to yourself and 10 minutes of reading to someone so that you can practice reading out loud in a nice, smooth way. All right, so the other activity that we're going to be doing this week is the other thing we're going to do for language this week is writing. We're going to do a writing assignment this week. I want to ask you a question. Maybe you've heard a lot of people talking about superheroes these days. That some of the workers that are still working are considered superheroes during this time of a pandemic. This time where we are supposed to be isolated to prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus. There are some wonderful, awesome people who still have to keep on working. And some of our moms and dads are one of those people, or some of those people. And we are so grateful for your moms and dads who are out there working in the front lines, we call it. They are our real life superheroes. What makes a person a superhero? What is it that is that they have to have? What is a quality that someone has to have in order to be considered a superhero? I think that's right. They need to have supernatural powers of some sort. Some people would call it magical powers, and others would just say that they just are born with that, or they were designed with a special supernatural power. We like to read about them in stories and watch them on shows, but that's what makes it exciting, that they have extraordinary powers. And while it's exciting to talk about fire-breathing people or flying superpowers or super speed and strength, I want you to think about what our world really needs right now. What kind of superpower or superhero do we need right now in London, right now in Ontario, right now in Canada, and right now in our whole world. Maybe it's healing powers. Maybe it's someone who can give people riches so that they can buy the groceries that they need. All these things, those are great ideas that you came up with. But I now am going to invite you to start creating your own superhero. Now make yourself, put some of those qualities that you just listed in a superpower that you would be able to have, and that you could be an imaginary superhero for this time, for such a time as this. And this is the activity that you're going to start off with for today. You need to fill in this graphic organizer to tell about your superhero powers, to tell what you are battling, who are the villains. Now, villains could be like germs or COVID-19, or maybe poverty or pollution, whatever it is that's a villain, a real life villain for today. And then fill in the rest of this graphic organizer so that you'll be able to tell an introduction of your superhero in the next couple of days. All right, so today's assignment is to fill in your graphic organizer for your pre-writing activity. All right, so I hope that you enjoy doing that. But before I leave you from this language activity, this language lesson, I want to close with a very important reminder that while it's fun to think about superpowers and superheroes, and maybe you have a special superhero that you like to read about and learn about and study about, but I want to challenge you and remind you that we do have a real life superhero, one that's better than any story time, a superhero better than anyone that you could read about in a comic book, better than anyone you could watch on TV. That's God. You're right. God is our ultimate superhero, and He is the perfect one, perfect hero for a time such as this. We can be so grateful that God is in charge. He's got the whole world in His hands, and that's the best place to be. God is a superhero because He's the best healer. He's the best provider that we could ever ask or imagine. And He's got the whole world in His hands. Pretty soon we're going to be remembering Easter time, and that's a time when Jesus died on the cross for us. But He didn't stay dead. No, not even death could conquer Him. He is better. He is more powerful, greater than anything, and He's even greater than death itself. After 3 days, just as He promised, He rose again to show that He is even more powerful than death itself, and to give us, to pave the way for us to also have eternal life with Him. So I ask that you just remember that as you imagine all these superhero powers, that it's fun, and it's a good way for us to practice our writing. But it's also important for you to remember that God is our ultimate superhero.